Hi guys, Paul Michaels from Real Dog Training and Big Game Indicating Dogs. So today's video is, should you get a bitcher dog? It's quite a common question. It's something that my views have sort of changed a little bit over the years on this one, but not much really either. I've always liked bitches for easy training, maturing quickly, coming on quickly, being really good early. I know of a lot of really experienced dogmen, like guys that have been a shepherd for 50 years and guys that have hunted over dogs for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years that really like bitches as well for that. Bitches are definitely a lot cleaner around camp and around the home. They don't piss all over everything. Dogs do. Dogs want to piss all over everything, and they're just a little bit more like that. You know, they're a male, a little bit more alpha. They sort of strut around, pissing on everything, checking everything, maybe barking at, you know, other dogs or people or anything moving around the property. Just a little bit more. They just got to, generally speaking, you know, a little bit more like that, whereas a bitch is a little bit more just go with the flow. All of this is a huge generalization, and all what it is you keep all this stuff in mind to have your highest chance of getting what you want as your end result. So if you want something that's going to come on early, be nice and calm later on, and be nice and walk quietly, sneaking on deer, not go bowling in, you want it to hunt, and all this different stuff. You choose the right breed, you choose the right individual, and you can, if you want to take one last step, you can choose the right sex for exactly what you want to do. It's not to say that every bitch is easier and calmer than every dog. Your most full-on bitch is obviously a lot more full-on than your calmest dog by comparison, but we're just talking about a numbers game, just getting your odds as high as possible to get exactly what you want. I've looked into this a lot, thought about it a lot, done a lot of research on it, talked to a lot of people on it, and there's a theory out there, and I totally believe in it and agree, that bitches mature faster because for millions of years, by the time they reach sexual maturity, a lot of bitches have their first heat when they're 8, 9, 10 months old. They have to be ready to settle down and look after a litter of pups at that young age. They have to be ready to have that responsibility. They need their head screwed on a little bit for that. They have to be clean in the den area and clean in general. A good mother with pups is very clean and keeps the pups very clean and all that whole area very clean. A dog, a male, has none of that to worry about ever in their life. If you look at the role of a male and a female in their pack. But so far I've talked about a lot of the cons, the pros in the females and the possible cons in the males. So possible pros and cons so far in this early period are dogs maturing slightly slower, bitches maturing slightly faster, being cleaner, and to me, I believe that part of that whole dynamic is the fact that because bitches are reaching sexual maturity earlier and coming up to that point in their life where they're going to be confined to a den, they can't go hunt for themselves so much, and they may be reaching a period where they're very dependent on the pack. I actually believe that they evolved to play a more of a supporting role within the pack, where they don't necessarily want to come up and dominate, and they're more, if someone else wants to step up and show a strong leading role and that they're responsible and they can deal with everything. Most bitches can be, you have a higher chance of them just being happy with following a leader and just playing a supporting role. Whereas dogs have that whole male alpha side of things where they kind of want to try to keep control of everything, and they want to be mating with bitches and all of that thing. They've evolved like that for millions of years, so they have just a slight more hint of that instinct to stay on top a little bit. And I think sometimes that can come through with bitches and males, where bitches is real happy to follow, and males just take a little bit more work and a little bit more confidence and knowledge from the handler to really take over, and they can take a bit longer to really just drop right into training and just listen and follow. Now, there can be a trade-off in this, whereas a lot of people that have a huge amount of experience with a huge amount of dogs will tell you that a lot of their best dogs that come on early were bitches because of that whole thing of maturing early. But the bitches come up to a certain point very quickly and then plateaued, or if anything, as they got older, they actually get a little bit harder to handle. So when they're young, yep, they could be real nice, come on real quick, and when they're 8 or 10 months old, and you're thinking, man, this dog's just going to be an absolute boomer. 12 months old, it's awesome. 16, 18 months old, it's really good. By the time they're 2 or 3, they're starting to rise up a little bit, and that's when the tension can come on, and they start to try to make their own decisions and take over a bit and be a little bit harder to handle. Whereas some people, like I said, that have had a huge amount of experience with a huge amount of dogs, in a real working situation like hunting, shepherding, or something like that, will tell you that some of their best dogs were males. And a lot of mainstay heading dogs and things like that are males, and older males that, yeah, they were pretty good coming on, and they were easy to handle and easy to train and all of that, but not that super crazy quick like bitches. But they just come on nicely, and they're good, handy, and they just keep progressing and getting better and better and better and better. And by the time they're 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, they're just mind-blowingly good, and they're the best dog they've had. So that pretty much covers it for me on the decision between bitches and dogs. All of that is the information I would use, and that's the things I think about and consider when deciding between a bitch and a dog, if I'm going to take it into consideration at all. Whereas really, and in reality, like I said, the calmest bitch that comes on the fastest is basically no better than the calmest dog that comes on the fastest. And obviously, the hardest to handle bitch is no better than the easiest to handle dog. But it's all just about knowing as much as you can about choosing a dog and then training it, and just lining all of these things up. So breed, sex, training, the individual dog, all these different things, and how to choose a pup, why you're choosing it, and how you train, and then later on how you hunt. The more of these things you can line up and stack on top of each other, the higher chance you've got at getting what you want. So yeah, that's my take on it. At the end of the day, what trumps everything is getting the right individual dog. So like in the case of choosing Print, the dog we're using in the Deer Dog Training Blueprint is turning out really, really good. I chose a dog because when I looked at the litter, I found the dog that it was the breed I liked. It was the line within that breed that I liked. Everything was just right. I even got the looks right. I went for the look of the dog that I like. I like my dog to look right for me. And that's different for every person. And then when I looked at the litter and I looked at my chosen litter, the only dog that matched what I wanted was a male. I prefer bitches. I would have liked to have used a bitch in the Dead Dog Blueprint, but at the end of the day, I found the perfect pup as a male, and I know, because everything's lined up so well, I'd much rather choose a male there that he was a nice quiet pup that stood back, the right breed, the right line, the right traits, the right look, everything lined up. So the fact that he was a male it just didn't matter. So it's, you know what I mean? It doesn't override everything else. But it's still one more thing to keep in mind. And hopefully that answers the question for people that are thinking, man, should I get a bitch or a dog? Yeah, that's it. I'm rambling now. I'll see you later. Paul Michaels, Real Dog Training, Big Game Indicating Dogs.